Welcome to the last podcast Nonplussed will ever do. We're done. Good night, everybody.
Outro music fades in.
Goodbye.
You don't need to give me the instructions. I know what to do. We've been doing this
Okay,
long
we'll
enough.
type it in. Outro
Alright,
music fades in. Clickety clack.
Yeah.
If you're so fucking hilarious.
Okay. No. So I will. I'm joking, of course.
Half joking.
This is the last podcast of the year. Although it might come out after New Year's, but whatever.
Probably
We'll
coming
see.
after New Year's.
Yeah,
We do our best.
we do.
We
So
don't.
yeah,
Try.
it's basically we've been trying to record this episode for a little while, but it's just because the holidays and all the plans have been a little bit difficult. But just getting housekeeping out of the way, we're gonna be undergoing a bit of a rebranding, and that's mainly because we've essentially figured out we feel like we've gotten to the point in podcasting where we're generally good enough at it that we're gonna start putting it onto a new platform, but to avoid uploading like 29 episodes
Of just,
that,
middling
that-
quality.
to avoid that, we're just going to sort of rebrand the podcast and start from an episode 1. We'll still be uploading stuff to the YouTube channel, but you'll also be able to find us on
Multiple things.
iTunes,
Yeah.
Google Play, probably wherever you can.
Wherever we end up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wherever
And of
normal
course,
podcasts are found.
Yeah. We're the
we'll also-
instead of just YouTube.
Yeah, we'll also be doing more stuff on social media once we figure that all out. I'm sure we'll get there.
Eventually.
It'll take a bit for us
Yeah.
to gear up and get comfortable with, but I feel that at this point we've gotten comfortable enough with the base formula to, do it right.
Yeah.
Because we're not proud of
Broaden
all
our
the episodes
horizons.
we've made. We wanna do it right this time.
Yeah. That's not to say that we're not proud of the stuff that we've done so far, but in general, yeah. That being said,
There
this
is
is also
room
going to be a
for
pretty
improvement.
tired podcast because even with the
totally.
holiday plans, it is late.
They should
It's
fit the end of the
late,
year
and
mold pretty well.
We have
Yeah.
so much to talk about.
Yeah. So I think the idea that we had for this one is that we're going to do our news, and I think since last year we did a best of 2018 list.
Oh, I don't think we're going to do that.
We should do
I don't-
that for a separate video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I like
we've got so much news, and then it's also late right now. So
Yes, it's like midnight right now. as well.
it's where we're at. So yeah.
Speaking of which, no, I'll save our name for when we rebrand. It's more
I
appropriate.
mean, well, we can just say what it is.
We can just, yeah.
Or should we? It's a
Why not?
surprise. Yeah.
sure, yeah.
I mean,
do you want to
it's-
leave it as a surprise?
I don't
think we need to.
know.
It's
Whatever.
not really much of a surprise. It's just a name.
It's the Nonplussed Nightly.
Yeah.
We're calling it Nonplussed Nightly. It won't be coming out nightly. No.
But hey,
that's the joke.
that makes for a clever intro.
Yeah, that's it. It's
That makes us
Nonplussed
seem
Nightly.
like a
You
real
could listen to it
podcast
nightly
that
if
you
you
listen
want.
to at night.
Yes.
How else will we
as
get
our-
all of the beautiful podcasters to like us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It'll be
Totally.
All the popular
our subtle,
kids.
our lovely subtle
All the cool
voices.
kids on the block that wouldn't look at our format that isn't nightly, and then question
What the
why
fuck?
did we decide to name it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, why are they? This is stupid. Okay.
At this point,
Hey.
over a year. And
Hey,
Yeah.
guys, but the both of you, seeing as you exist in the same space currently, how was your week? What'd you do?
Who's going first?
We
Cedric, what have
saw-
you done this week?
Andrew, you and I both saw the Rise of Skywalker
Oh,
8
yeah.
days ago.
Was it 8
As
days ago?
as a main thing, there will not be a spoiler cast on that
No.
in this episode, nor for a while, because I have literally no desire to see that film. at all.
All
Like,
you need to know is one thing, Ben.
I mean, I wouldn't put it here because people might still care.
Okay.
Right.
If it's a spoiler, I don't think.
Well, no, we're not going to spoil the film for
I
you.
mean, whatever.
Okay.
Darth
Even
Binks
though,
is like
Oh.
the fucking hypest thing you could have seen.
Yeah.
Remember when that was a real theory?
What was?
What?
The Darth Jar Jar Binks theory.
Oh yeah. Well,
I would have
it
preferred
had
that.
some credence. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
completely impossible.
I remember that was like building around the episode 7 release. People
Yeah,
were so
because
fucking
Kylo Ren's
excited.
helmet kind of looked like Jar Jar's head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, simpler
Um,
times.
Yeah.
Now we're all just tired.
Yep. That would explain my disposition towards Star Wars. I like The Mandalorian a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else just makes me immensely exhausted.
But, you know, maybe they'll... Broader Horizons, the series, now that we're done with this new
Yep.
trilogy. But
Sure.
other than that, you know, just more Fire Emblem. I've been playing the game immensely slowly from what I've found, looking more into community posts. I've been posting online more, just general like fan art and stuff. And so
Yeah.
I've been looking into the conversation around the game. People say like, I did my first playthrough in 35 hours, and I'm like, I'm 45 hours in, and I'm halfway through. How the fuck have you guys been playing this so quickly? Do you skip dialogue? Is that the trick?
Probably, yeah.
It does speak to the level of the game that if you really want to rush, you can.
I looked up how many endings there are. There are 6 endings. So I guess
my
it's
God.
like Nier or something,
Well,
where you just
you know
have to
that
replay
they're-
it.
You know that they're also going to be adding a 4th campaign.
Excuse me? You're lying.
Really?
That's the DLC.
No way. I'm going to be playing
Yeah.
this game for the rest of my fucking life.
Finally.
Yeah.
You found the
Great.
perfect video game.
God, I really do want to
That's
sink my
wonderful.
teeth into that. I just keep finding other things.
It is so worth it.
Yeah.
I can't explain it anymore. Just
I'm aware. I mean, it took like the community by storm. Like
it is
it-
like the best
we
selling
did
game in
we
the
did
series
talk
now.
about this, but it is absolutely crazy that this is the year that the Pokemon community is more toxic than the Fire Emblem community.
know.
Fire Emblem fans
It's
are just
so
snorting this
weird.
game like it's fucking cocaine. People are going
Yeah.
nuts. People
And
are going
like
nuts
everyone's
for
just
it.
like, oh, and it's bringing on so many new fans. It's just like, oh, I gotta try out this new Fire Emblem, and
Yeah.
they're really enjoying it. And
think
then
the
people are going to
subreddit size
Pokemon. It's
grew
just like,
from, like-
it's kind of old and busted.
Yeah, I think the subreddit size for Fire Emblem grew by like 60% or something.
Yeah.
It was
weird to me.
ridiculous. It was such a fast spike.
Mm-hmm.
I'm baffled that because going from Awakening to Fates, I know I've said this on the podcast, but from just a structure point of view, Awakening was like the perfectly accessible Fire Emblem game.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. And then I guess Intelligent Systems or Nintendo or whatever looked at that and said, hey, you know that thing they did with Awakening? Let's make another game, but make the story worse. Make people buy it 3 times to get the full story.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And I think from that they learned, hey, let's make a game. I didn't play 15. I didn't play Fire Emblem 15. I bought it, but it's still in the plastic
Fire
wrapper.
Emblem
buy it, yeah,
15?
yeah.
The remake
Oh, you mean
of
Shadows
Fire
of-
Emblem 2. Yeah.
Echoes of
Valentia.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I should play that.
I bought it. I need to make my money worth it, but playing it.
I heard it was good.
Yeah, people
I
like
heard it was okay.
Oh god, we are going to be stumbling over words all day today.
My
Oh,
thing
man.
is, they looked at maybe we shouldn't. We should make a game with multiple endings and not make people buy it 3 fucking times. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
or what I like to say, what they did is they said they looked at the game and they said, "Hey, we could just make this Persona,"
Yeah.
and then
we
they
could
did,
just make it good.
and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's Persona.
Thank you, Intelligent Systems,
Yeah.
for making another
great.
Persona. No wonder it's so popular. Yeah, Andrew.
Yesterday I downloaded and started playing Final Fantasy VII again for the first time in ages.
You were
Yeah.
so happy about that. It looked just as good as you remembered it.
Yeah.
What are you playing it on?
The Switch.
Good. That's a really good version.
Yes.
There've been because I think there are a couple versions that you can play. I think it's like the Xbox One version, the PC version that are just absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
I played the Steam version all the way through disc 1.
Yeah?
Or,
played
part
it very
one,
briefly.
as they called it.
I heard
in
that
the
the
day.
Steam version was fucked. I'm not actually sure.
It is not impossible to play. It's just kind of...
I know
jank.
There's a lot of jank.
There was. I know.
There's
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
if the
small,
mouths are
annoying
still. I'm
janks.
pretty sure the mouths are still in the Switch version that they added, because they added mouths to the overhead character. Well, I say overhead. I guess just like the non-battle character. Excuse me. The non-battle
Wait, like,
character models. So like Sephiroth, his mouth is like open all the time.
Oh, by the
His
way,
mouth
Andrew,
is always a good.
I'm hearing myself in the background. Turn your audio down a little bit.
My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, Andrew, you want to know something great about this game and the other Final Fantasy PlayStation games in recent releases? They have the turbo mode.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
That's
the
one thing I'm
fucking
very happy about.
grinding
Yeah.
is going to be so much better. Okay, people like
That's-
to get on
yeah.
that.
There was
JRPG
there was like
elitists.
a Kotaku article about that where it's just like JRPGs are much better with a fast forward option, and it's
Hey,
like
it's me, JRPG elitist. They are.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I remember playing shit. What's the Sky Pirate one?
Oh.
It originally came out on
shit,
the
the
Dreamcast,
Dreamcast?
but it came to,
Skies
but
of
it came to-
Arcadia?
Skies of Arcadia.
Skies of
yeah.
Arcadia, yeah. I played a decent amount of Skies of Arcadia, and what absolutely killed me on that game is the battle animations are so slow. I was wondering if it was like my emulation or something that was going on, because I was doing it on a laptop, but then I think I played like Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes just to test it, and it's like, no, it ran perfectly. So
Yeah, same. Like, I love Final Fantasy IX. I played it all the way through, and I
Yeah.
absolutely adore it. But if I had to play it again, I would have to get the Switch version or the Steam version.
Yeah.
Because the battle
the
speed
phone
is
version.
ridiculously... Yeah, the phone version's actually surprisingly good, apparently.
yeah.
But the battle speed's just ridiculously slow. So, Andrew, if you gotta experience 7, I'm glad it's with the
Me
turbo
too.
mode.
Yeah.
Because I love this. Well, not so much the story, just the characters from 7. I think are my favorite. I drew that webcomic all those years ago
Yeah,
in high school.
man.
Yeah.
It was just bad.
I mean,
fanfiction.
they are just iconic and incredibly well designed before
Surprisingly malleable before their flanderization in new products.
before what's their designer's name again? Nomura.
Nomura.
Yeah, Nomura. Before Nomura went off the deep end and just started doing Kingdom Hearts, and oh my god, he's insane.
It's. I don't even know how to feel about the current incarnation. Yeah, current
Oh,
incarnations.
don't worry, I know how to feel about him. He's batshit crazy. Moving on.
But other than that, it's like, oh, I'm getting ready for. This is more of a personal thing. I'm getting ready for portfolio stuff.
Yay.
That's
You art
and not
students
like
are always
senior
talking about
portfolio.
your
I'm not a senior,
portfolios.
but more of an application internship thing. So
Yeah.
I guess I'll update you on that if that ever happens.
I hope it does.
Me too. I'm
better
working
fucking
very
happen.
hard on it, but it's
Yeah.
also like, oh, I need animation to apply for animation, and you can't
You
just
don't
cook
say.
up a bunch of animation. That shit takes a while. So
I know how you mean. I'm already working on stuff for the publication scene in Toronto, and yay. There's a weird, it's a
slow
weird
and it
thing.
takes forever. But man,
It's also a thing with Canada is that we are very surprisingly close-chested about being nationalistic, and it's
Really?
something I don't know if it's like me, just because I'm an American, but it's a lot of the authors that we discuss or whatever, whenever they're Canadian, every single time they mention the author, it's, yeah, Canadian author so-and-so. Like, I don't remember in the States we would go, oh, American author so-and-so. This
Yeah.
author is American. But in, like, in Canada, it's like, we're so firm about just like, no, we're
Is
here,
that
we're
the
real.
is that the nature of Canadian nationalism, where they're like, you better not fucking forget us? We're your upstairs neighbors who gave you your favorite
It
celebrities.
kind of feels like that sometimes, especially because most of our like society is essentially hugging the border, whereas like the rest of the country is like non-livable. So, yeah.
But yeah, that scene is always. It's also like super slow. Takes forever. Man, is it worth it? But it's also like, oh, these are projects I just want to make fair before anything else. So I don't want to like rush them and half-ass them, but man, is it hard not to rush them and half-ass them. Just to say I have a bunch of portfolio items.
Just to get the things done,
Yeah. But that's my life currently. The break is also very much needed.
I've got a couple things to talk about. Let's see. I played Shovel Knight Treasure Trove because
is that good?
Yes. Well, because the King of Cards came out for that, and I never played the Spectre Knight campaign, so I really quickly ran through that. It's actually a really lean campaign. It doesn't have too much to it. But what was there was a lot of fun.
That's the one with the Is that the one with the rail grinding?
Yes, yeah. It's actually not used as much as I'd like.
Oh.
It's used in one really it's used most heavily in about 2 levels. Out of like I think 10. It could be used a lot more, and it's so much fun that it's kind of a shame that they didn't use it. But they also have a bunch of other mechanics that are fun, so it was a trade-off.
Okay. And Treasure Trove was good too, I imagine.
Yeah. And then King of Cards is really interesting because it is a fucking meaty campaign. I'm about 2/3 through it, and it is...
How long have you played it?
There's a lot. I don't even know. I would have to check, but... It feels like it's been a long while because like it's real. I can't really get my head around how much stuff there is to it because there's the whole platforming content which is broken up in a really interesting way because the platforming levels are short but they're really spread out across the map, and then combat is broken up with Joustus matches, which is the card game. And Joustus is really fun. It's hard as shit too.
Really?
It's like it's like the basic way I could describe it is imagine if triple triads, the direction that the cards were pointing, the entire objective of the game is instead like those directions instead of stats. That's the direction that those cards can be, or can't be pushed from. So it's a game of physical placement, where you have to push cards around, and you have to, like, end the game with your cards on a certain number of gems. And if, like, you have more gems than your opponents, then you win. So it's about territory control, but then there are cards with, like, abilities and special movement gimmicks, and it gets really complicated really fast. And what's interesting about it is you don't have to do any of it.
Really?
It's completely skippable. It's 100% skippable.
I love, like, I feel like, I don't know, JRPGs still do... I know, like, we're talking about Shovel Knight content, and I'm jumping on JRPGs again.
I know what you're meaning.
Do they still do, like, the card game, minigame thing?
In what?
In just general JRPGs, is that still like a popular form of side content?
I don't know. Sometimes, I mean, I'd imagine it's
not
like
I'd be surprised if there wasn't some sort of side thing.
Yeah. The PlayStation era, that was like the thing to have,
It's just to have an extra card. Yeah, it's like an extra card game. That was Well, I feel like that started with FF7, and then FF8 had Triple Triad, which was like massively popular because that game's fucking awesome. It's so popular that it's actually in FF14 as a major like
is
game.
it? Nice.
Oh god,
do
yeah.
They have Tetra
one of the
Master,
social
too?
options. Well, actually, that's one of the things is that anytime that you leave a certain area, it will tell you whether or not you can play Triple Triad with random people.
Really?
Yeah,
That
it's
makes
like you
me so
literally
happy.
you just walk up to people and you can click on them. It's like, hey, do you want to play a match of Triple Triad? It's like, sure.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Do they have Tetra Master?
No.
Oh.
Tetra
I like
Master
Tetra
sucks
Master.
compared to it sucks compared to Triple Triad.
Oh yeah, but I like it. I still have fun playing.
Great.
It.
Guess
It's
what?
quite good. It's
Triple Triad's
bad.
fucking awesome. Triple Triad's better. Shut up.
Sure. Fine. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's been a lot of fun. I haven't beaten it yet, and then I played that a bunch, and then I decided to take a break and play Transistor, which is the Supergiant game I was telling you about, because I've never beaten it, and that game's fucking rad. It's got a really interesting way of doing combat systems where you'll have abilities, right? And it's actually similar to Hades, which we were playing a little bit earlier, and I don't have to say much about that to you, but to the audience, it's important.
Yes.
Like the isometric.
But yeah,
form
it's
of presentation.
isometric kind of quick-paced combat, except in Transistor you have a button that stops time and lets you plan moves out. It's really cool.
Oh, so it's like
And
super hot with isometric view.
sort of. It's more of a plan out the next 5 seconds. And it's like plan, execute a move around a bit, execute another move around a bit, execute a move.
You know what that makes me think of?
Is
Radiant Historia, its form of battling.
right.
like-
I'm gonna play
Forgot about
that
Radiant
eventually.
Historia.
Yeah.
I really do want to play
You
that.
like planned out your moves and you're like, alright, go.
Yeah, here's what works, here's what doesn't.
Yeah.
And the thing that's really getting me about Transistor is that you will have these powers. So each power you can equip to a button. So it's like, here is your one power, it's a stun. So you fire out a little beam and you stun an enemy. And then here's another power that fires out a little swath of grenades. So it's your little spread shot. Now, the interesting thing about this is that your powers can be equipped as main abilities, or they can be equipped as like subroutines for your main abilities. So if I equip stun and then have spread as the subroutine to it, the stun will now fire as a 3-way beam. But if I equip spread and then put stun on it, then that spread will make anything within its area get stunned.
I love systems like that because it feels
Yeah.
like there's the potential for things to just get super fucking broken.
And what's really interesting is that the way that the game hides some of its lore is each ability is tied to a character, and you have to use the ability in one slot each to fully unlock the character's backstory. And so and you can only change your abilities at these stations, so it's like every time you go to a station, there's this idea of, oh, I have to swap my abilities out, and if you're interested in the world and the lore, which I am, what you'll end up doing is the game starts to streamline you into experimentation, where you'll have
neat.
tried every ability in every place at least once.
Like the world building is tied into the gameplay that makes you want to
Yeah.
explore both.
It's
that's
a really
neat.
it's ludo narrative, and it's really interesting to fuck around in. It's also just a great game, great music, great art. It's a Supergiant game. These things
Yeah.
are to be expected. And then I did finally bite the bullet and buy Hades, which also came with a free copy of Pyre, which I also need to beat. And I've been playing Hades, which is the early access Supergiant game. That game's fucking awesome.
It looks like cool as hell.
Yeah, because I was just streaming it with you guys earlier and we are having fun. That shit is rad. It feels great.
I was really blown away by the quality of the voice acting.
Oh yeah.
It was very
It
was smooth.
It's all this. It's this shit where I can just look at it and say, yeah, that's Supergiant. Like Supergiant has
Supergiant
amazing
stamp
voice
of
actors.
approval.
Oh god, yeah. It's like it's if you were to look at like a Supergiant game, and it's weird, but I can look at it and I can say like, oh yeah, man, Supergiant games, you know, they're known for great music, great gameplay, great voice acting, great story, great stuff, and then it's like every single aspect, but then I never really put it together, and you know, you're like, you know, Supergiant just makes really fucking good games.
The quality control has to be high.
Like really
effort has
fucking
to
good
be
games, and
Supergiant.
it's just like that never clicks. But this is also Supergiant's first take on the early access model, which they've been doing phenomenally. Where every like you haven't seen it, but when you log in, at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, there's a timer that's counting down until the next update.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you know what that update's going to contain and what it's going to change.
That's smooth as hell.
Oh god, yeah. And it's also recently come out on Steam, because it was one of the launch titles for the Epic Games Store. So go on down and get yourself a copy of this. Until January the 2nd, it comes with a free copy of Pyre, which is also awesome. It's the best sports game I've ever played in my life. It's fucking incredible.
Nice.
Yeah, that's been pretty much it. Oh shit, no, I need to talk about Empyrean.
Oh, alright.
Warframe Empyrean, yeah, because I got really excited for that when that dropped.
During the Game Awards.
Yeah. Without... I could go on for a while.
Succinctly,
right now,
how is it now?
I would say right
post-launch?
now, currently, if you two guys were to just magically acquire amazing PCs and were able to play Warframe, I'd say you would probably be having an amazing time catching up on stuff and getting good at the game and like getting new frames and all that stuff. I think anyone who really wants to play Warframe should give it a shot because they literally have nothing to lose because it's free.
Yeah.
That being said, I've also talked about the level of ambition behind Digital Extremes and how much they really want to make as much possible, albeit the fact that they are a just minuscule dev team and they are building something that is like this huge and insane. Empyrean is so fucked.
Yeah.
It's so broken. It is unbelievable.
It is fascinating to see because the scale of what they're going for is just when it works.
It's insane.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I can tell you the experiences that I've had of like, okay, I'm fixing the ship, running up to the gunner's position, firing off a couple shots. Oh, hey, a capital ship it's not a cruise ship just punched in from orbit. I would run up to the engine, slingshot myself into the cruise ship, kill all the dudes, take over the cruise ship, fire it around for a bit, blow up the reactor, fly back to my ship, get in, and hey, look, all the walls in my ship have disappeared.
It's like...
What?
It's like...
but
when it doesn't work, you
Yeah.
get stuff like that where the walls go away or you'll be in the walls.
But in that first part, when you're playing, you just get to the sense of like flow, and you're starting to move through these missions, and you're just having so much fun. But there's a lot of logistical stuff that's not working at the moment. The loot drop system is bad. It's just bad.
Like bad in what way? Like uneven drop rates, or just it doesn't work?
This is the first time since mods used to be randomized, which is horrible. Where gear is randomized. It's kind of in a looter style. And I understand why they did it, because the amount of weapons that they have on the railjack is ridiculous. It's minuscule. But the problem is that you can get, because weapons are now graded by ranks, because you can't level these weapons. It's a completely different system than we're used to. And ranked weapons, like a rank 1 weapon is innumerably better than a rank 0, as is rank 2 and rank 3. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that you can get rank 2 and 3 weapons to drop in missions. But then you can spend time building them. But I have had so many times where it's like, okay, I just got this engine to drop. Great. I'm going to get the engine, I'm going to build it up, and it's going to take me a while. It's going to take me a little while of grinding, right? But then during that grind, while I've been investing resources into this engine that I want to build, a much better engine just dropped. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm completely fucked.
Yeah.
and it completely kills the flow of the game for me. And the thing is that the dev team have been amazing about it. Within the first week of Empyrean, there have been a total of 8 massive hotfixes.
Damn.
They've been working non-stop, and I'm glad they've taken off, they're taking a break for the holidays, thank God.
Yeah.
But the absolute state of Empyrean right now is it is a total chaotic mess.
But it's everyone's chaotic mess, so it's fine.
Yeah. Just don't go in expecting it to work right now. I would expect Empyrean... I would expect Railjack missions as a whole to be functional in a couple months. Especially because with Warframe, you learn that you are a community that's not just focused on playing a really good game. You are also a community of beta testers.
Yeah. Which is part of the charm.
That is.
Absolutely,
it really is.
Yeah.
It's like the thing is, Warframe is a game that even on its own in normal content, things are still pretty fucking broken constantly, and that's fine. I'm fine with shit breaking. It's just Railjack on launch was unplayable, but it's like even then, there's still a lot of fun to be had here. And overall, it's just what makes Warframe one of my favorite games. That also being said, I'm 400 hours in. I have nothing to do right now.
Holy shit.
There's no new story content. There's no new quests. And it's like, we're still in a content drought, even with Railjack out. It's like,
Interesting.
I don't really... I'm about halfway through a portion of Railjack's content, and at the moment, I really don't feel a need to keep playing it. I'm probably going to end up just going into grind Nightwave, and then I'm probably going to drop off Warframe for a little bit, let it update, let it kind of catch up with itself, and then
you can
reap
the rewards of waiting.
Yeah, because there's a new bunch of events that are going to be starting. There's the new war, which is what everything's been building up towards. And once that starts, I'll probably get into playing it semi-regularly again. But it's a great game. It's a fantastic game. You should
never seen anything like it.
Yeah. That is actually legitimately the one that's a term that I would use to describe it. Is there really is just nothing like it.
All right.
All right.
So yeah.
Nice. All right. I guess we'll be getting to the massive amount of news that we have.
Oh my god.
We've got a lot of
so
this
much
shit.
All right, we got a lot to talk about.
You'll have to forgive us if we do kind of end up shotgunning our way through this, because I can't do a deep discussion on everything. I don't have the energy.
Yeah.
Give me the history of
Yeah.
Well, actually, I remember when seeing this dropped. It was a
Get
leak.
it? 3-make.
3-make. So good.
Certainly was expected.
Twitter broke. People were losing their minds. It was
we all knew.
wonderful.
Yeah.
We were all waiting, you know?
Yeah, it was. I think what honestly shocked me the most was how soon it was coming out. It's like
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like a year later.
Didn't expect it.
which to me that means that regardless of whether or not RE2 remake was successful or not, this was still coming out.
Yeah.
There was no way that they, I saw them do, little campaigns around just hey, if you want to see Resident Evil 3 remake,
yeah,
do the likes, and I participated in that shit.
Oh, I didn't even know if they did, a campaign. I just figured after the big success of Mr. X, how much it spooked everyone.
Well,
that
it's
it was
just
inevitable.
Now looking at it having an April, I think, 3rd release date. Yeah, no, this has been in development.
Yeah. They were making it whether or not.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the Nemesis AI was tested in Mr. X.
Absolutely. Oh god, it's gonna be Mr. X times 1,000.
Yeah,
I would not be
that.
surprised if they just make him a permanent problem that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
For the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh my
thing.
god, that would
Sure.
be... But aren't there, fixed story events he would have to rubber band into?
There would of course there would be, but I'm saying like I would say that you would probably have to be under a constant threat of Nemesis for at least 70% of the game.
That's so fucking great. That's so amazing.
Sounds like a good, Sounds good to me.
I'm very excited for that. I also like his redesign personally. I know that there are some people who aren't for it, but
oh, did he get a redesign? Let me check.
Yeah, he got a very slight redesign.
Yeah. His face is more face-like.
Wow, what a bar.
Yeah, they gave him actual facial structure.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Which is I think it's pretty solid overall. His
that looks great. What are you
there is
about?
one angle that his nose doesn't look great from, but it's like if you look at it dead on, it's really cool. Yeah. So
I mean, he's not meant to be aesthetically pleasing.
Oh,
No.
There's also the other cool thing, which was really great to see, is in the gameplay video they showed off dodging.
Oh, I didn't know there was a gameplay video. Shit.
I didn't see that yet.
Because RE3, one of the major things that the original did was it had a dodge button, and they are.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, like
this.
the strafing.
Yep. Or it's not strafing. It's like a quick little like jump to the side. And that is one of the reasons why RE3 was original so interesting to play. And it made a lot of the segments with Nemesis bearable, and now that probably means that you're gonna have to get really good at dodging for a remake. So yeah. God, that's
Alright. I guess that's Resident Evil 3 remake. Speaking of 3.
That's all I've got to say on that. Speaking of 3.
Oh yes. Speaking of.
So what is the thing with this? I didn't.
What is
I saw
this,
the
by the way?
announcement like in my Twitter trends. I didn't look into it. What is this?
It's Ghostbusters 3.
Just
Are they
like,
doing a
just
third
straight up?
Ghostbusters or?
Yeah, it's gonna be featuring Finn Wolfhard, whatever, as a supporting character actually. The main character is going to be God, what was the nerdy dude's name? Like
I never watched Ghostbusters.
No, they're back.
I think it's Pinkman. Let me check.
I'm not caught up on the lore.
No.
Do they have wonton soup in this one?
No, Venkman's not. No, it's
Shut up, Seth.
Spengler. Yeah, Spengler's kid.
Just shut up.
Spengler's kid is going to be the new protagonist, and it looks pretty fun.
What if they combined the lores from the two Ghostbusters universes they had, make it one new continuity? 2016.
You're talking about the 2016 movie.
You're talking about lore for Ghostbusters?
Yes,
There's no lore.
The fact that it's still a franchise now.
How they even
put like a lore
combine
wiki
the
up.
last one?
You're talking about a franchise that there is actually no lore for.
Where do the
There's
ghosts
nothing.
come from? Look, when we get to like Ghostbusters 6 and they talk about like personhood and what it means to be a human, you can call me and tell me about the lore.
No.
You know, they were building up to it, obviously.
Yeah, this is very subtle foreshadowing.
The Ghostbusters lore.
It looks like a fun summer flick. Outside of that, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Alright, then I guess
The
we
only
can move
reason why
on.
Ghostbusters 1 and parts of Ghostbuster 2 are fun is because they're funny. That's it.
Yes, it's a
Who
comedy.
gives a shit about the ghosts?
not an action
No one
movie.
does. They're a plot device.
Yeah.
Except the Michelin Man or whatever the fuck his name is.
The reason why Ghostbusters 2016 is bad isn't because it didn't use the original cast or it wasn't a direct sequel or whatever. The reason why it's bad is because it wasn't funny. That's it. That's the only reason. It was a bad comedy movie. There are hundreds of bad comedy movies.
This one just happened to be called Ghostbusters. Huh?
Yeah, it just happened to have a beloved franchise on it, but the reason why Ghostbusters is funny is because they spend a minute in an elevator turning on unlicensed nuclear reactors and then kind of shifting away from each other and looking really uncomfortable, and it's fucking hysterical.
What, Ben? Are you telling me you didn't love the wonton soup jokes from 2016?
I loved them.
Yeah, good.
They were
All right.
great.
Next bullet point.
That's like the most spiteful. I love them.
I don't even know
They were
why I added
awesome.
this as a topic. I guess the only reason why is
I didn't
kinda
even
thought
watch
that-
Spectre. Like,
No, neither did I.
I did. It was not good.
That's what I heard.
I was kind of hoping that the current actor for
like-
James Bond, what's his name?
Daniel Craig.
Yeah, Daniel Craig. I was kind of hoping he was done.
Me too, in a way.
Because
Like-
I one of the films that I saw him in most recently was Logan Lucky, and he looked like he was having such a fun time not being James Bond.
I assume most people would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just maybe this one will be good, and then it can stop. You know, and on a high
Sure.
note.
Maybe.
Skyfall's a high fucking note.
Because
Top.
people were talking about like Idris Elba being the new James Bond, and to be like, damn,
Idris
that'd be
Elba?
fucking awesome.
Why not? Yeah.
He'd be so good, but I don't know, because the last
love
I'd
that.
heard is Daniel Craig was just kind of done with it, but I guess not.
A lot of
know.
reactions seemed quite done to it as well.
Yeah,
Like, it doesn't seem like anyone wants one anymore.
the
But
Bond
it's-
series
what
just
can I
seems
say?
so.
Bond is
I'm
doing
It's a
the
very
Pokemon
old-fashioned
thing where they have
series
to
as
break
well.
free of their
Yeah.
chains.
I can't really see it functioning in the
It's
next
like-
few decades as like a
I
series
feel like
people get excited for.
even the concept of the spy film alone is just kind of tired.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
relic
Ben,
of
we've
the
had
Cold
this
War.
conversation before. We know that if done right, genres that are like on life support can get new life pumped into them if
Oh,
just
Jesus,
they're
yeah.
done well. Like we
It's
joked, like maybe
just
we
this
should
won't
bring
be
back the
bad.
noir movie, but because it's empirically proven that if you just do a dead genre correctly, people will
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the Pokemon problem. They need to break free of their chains.
Yeah, and do
Fucking
something new with
Breathe
Bond.
new life
I think
into
it's
it so
also
it can
because
survive in the
like,
21st
these genres
century.
are born from the eras they're made in, like the Cold War
Yeah,
or World War II
that's
and what have you.
that's the other thing. Is just like every
Like,
single Bond film.
the
is something
climate
about a
is so
nuclear
different.
weapon.
compared to
Oh, yeah.
what it used to be. Like politically speaking.
Where it's
So
not
it's
that
like-
it's gotten better; it's that we've just kind of
Right.
gotten used to it.
It's also
It's-
like
yeah.
when they try to incorporate it, it's kind of awkward. Like in Skyfall, where they're like, the people who are, I think it was like the people attacking MI6 posted the countdown on YouTube, where it's like, okay, that would get flagged, and then
Oh yeah,
But it's like
that's
I think,
right. Yeah.
I think there's that. I also think that like watching Skyfall, I remember the scenes because they were really well directed and visually great. I can't for the
yeah.
life of me remember what the plot was.
You're right. I remember like a train crashed through a wall.
I remember they're like,
that was
welcome to
pretty
the new
cool.
MI6.
I remember he went back to his old home and he like drove around an old car for a while, and that was like
Yeah.
really cool.
You know, you
There was,
just
like,
need
a
really
fight
good
against
set
the li-
pieces.
There was a
and,
girl
like,
who
rolling
got
back.
shot and
Yeah.
died.
It's just an excuse for set pieces. If they could accept it like kind of Mission Impossible has lately, where it's just, hey, do you want to see Tom Cruise hang out of a helicopter? Sure. Okay,
why not?
we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
He's
Just watch
gonna go there.
like James Bond almost die and make funny one-liners while going to beautiful places for epic set pieces. You know.
Sure, fun. Let's just do
Why
that.
not?
That's just do that. You're a relic of the past. You can live in the 21st century semi-ironically.
Yeah, I don't
Sure.
care. Who cares about the character of James Bond? He's not interesting. He's suave.
And I know I'm sure there are
a
people who
cool,
could tell us
amazing.
that like, oh no, he's actually very interesting.
No, he's
But,
not.
you
I've
know-
watched all of those movies. I've
Have you
watched every
seen all
single
of
one of them. I am that guy who would tell you, and the answer is no.
I
he's
am
not.
James Bond.
The thing is, Daniel Craig's Bond is the most interesting because they try to give him more emotional depth, but it really isn't there.
Right.
Not in Spectre.
They try to go
apparently.
like, oh, he's a bit of a tortured soul because he's killed so much for his country, and he's
Yeah,
kind
I've
of
heard about the
become
tortured
bitter
soul
towards his
aspect.
country. And I get that, and it's like that's kind of interesting, but they don't go anywhere with it. It's just like, oh, he's bitter towards his country, but he's not gonna stop doing it.
Right.
Right.
Otherwise,
They
there'd be no
always say James
franchise as
Bond
well.
will
He's not
return.
007
Yeah.
anymore. He's just a guy who hates England. Like,
And
what
that's
the
like
fuck
half
else
of
is he?
England.
Oh, another Londoner. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you
there's
know.
there's not much to say there.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Hopefully it'll be good.
Maybe I'll see
Speaking
it.
of things that look good.
You know what will be good is Babylon's Fall gets fucking gameplay.
This game is real.
Yes.
Real. It exists.
Then I was skeptical, thinking like Babylon's Fall. I've never heard of this game back during the E3 video.
yeah.
I thought you were just fucking with me half the
It
time.
was announced 2 years ago.
And finally, a gameplay trailer.
And finally we get something for it, because all that we got was just
Beautiful.
like a lore video and some like
Yeah.
cinematic. And it's just like, I don't even know what to think. I just watched the lore video and all of it washed over me. I felt nothing. I watched the cinematic. I felt nothing. And then I saw the platinum sigil and I'm like, well shit, I'm erect.
Shit.
And now, after all
Well,
of
now what
these
do I do with
years-
this? You're not showing me any gameplay.
You've
I
been
don't know
holding
what
it
this
for 2
is.
years, Ben.
But I'm erect.
Okay, I know when you wanted it
Why?
at E3 as well, and it just didn't appear during E3. So you just
Yeah.
assumed we're done.
Yeah, pretty much. I
Nothing's
was
happening.
like, if I don't see something about a game for a year, I generally don't have high hopes. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with like Bayo 3 and SMT 5, which, by the way, Atlas
Exists.
literally came
Yeah.
out with a report saying it's in active development.
Well, great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Good to know. I guess Persona 5 Royal was keeping him busy.
I suppose so. Yeah.
I guess Persona
Yeah.
5 on Switch is keeping them busy.
So yeah, Babylon's Fall looks interesting. Like a lot of the moves look great. I'm curious to see what they're going to do that makes this different. Because you see
I'm
the
sure
whole
there will be
thing
some sort of
where you see the whole thing where he steals the boss's arm, and I like that. And I'm thinking, will this be a like weapon durability, and you have to like swap out your current weapons with enemies' weapons kind of thing? Because that could be cool.
Potentially.
The other thing that's really weird to me is that the last game that they released was orange/red bad, blue good. Now it's blue bad, orange good. That's gonna fuck with me.
They're
Yeah.
fucking with their veterans, dude.
That's really gonna fuck with me.
Do you think that was intentional?
Totally.
Yeah, they're gonna fuck with you like
the enemies
FromSoft
are
fucked with
so
people
blue.
using.
They're
like-
so blue.
I think they're gonna fuck with you like FromSoft fucked with you by adding a jump button.
Yeah, could
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
But
We'll
they
see.
already have a jump button, so what else can they add?
A double jump button.
That's
Fuck.
also in the game.
But it's like a separate
You know what
button for
genre
some
this
reason.
is?
In most games.
A third button that's also the jump button.
Yeah.
Either way, I immensely trust Platinum and their ability to create
Quality.
just fucking awesome games. I will look forward to see what they're doing. The main thing, the one piece of art that I saw that kind of hints at where the game might be going, it looks like this might be their multiplayer dream game, because they've been trying to do that for a while.
yeah.
And if you look at that like promotional art, you see like 4 characters, so it's kind of like, okay, 4 players might be fun.
It made me, my brain stopped. God.
Yeah, it's good.
It made me think of. You said the multiplayer game. We watched the Grand Blue Fantasy trailer that they did.
Yeah.
Is
They've
that multiplayer? Or
yeah, well, because we were talking about that. The thing is, Platinum Games is no longer officially on that Grand Blue Fantasy thing, which is
That's
weird because they
right,
still
yeah.
they parted amicably. Apparently,
Really?
oh,
So
so
it's
they were
like-
just like, eh,
why isn't their name on it?
interesting.
I don't know. But whatever. I'll still play it. But the whole thing with multiplayer games is that Bayonetta 2's multiplayer is great, but then they've also tried multiplayer with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which wasn't great, and Astral Chain, which even though that game is really good, the multiplayer actually isn't that fun.
Probably wasn't designed with it in mind. I guess.
Nah, it kind of feels like it was a bit of a, oh hey, we have 2 characters on screen. Why don't we let you
Put in
play
a
with
feature,
it?
you
It's
know?
like,
It's like
maybe
it's
don't
also
do that.
maybe a game.
Maybe we could do that. No, don't. It's like
Alright.
what's the main problem with that is like you have a time limit on how long the monster is out, and the whole point of your chain, the Legion, yeah, that's what it is. How long your Legonis is out.
Your stand.
Why would, like, the whole point of the game is to quickly hot swap your Legion out. What would be fun for the person who's playing the Legion player? Like, what do you do? The whole point of the Legion is for you to swing them around.
From
Like,
side to side.
it's one of my favorite things about the Legion attacks is that the Legion doesn't want to be there. And you're literally, all that you're doing is you're literally grabbing the chain and whipping this, like, 100-pound sword dude around and just saying, I don't know, hit shit!
Yeah.
Just hit it!
It could.
It's fucking rad.
It's your job, god damn it.
But yeah, Babylon's Fall looks great. I am assuming Bayonetta 3 is also in development.
It could be.
I don't know, I guess Platinum just kind of does things their own way. Maybe they have 2 teams, I don't know.
Yeah. Alright.
What is this?
Gungrave.
It's Gungrave G.O.R.E. That game, it's the game that got like a PS4 announcement trailer, and everyone was like, holy shit, I remember Gungrave from the PS2 and also the anime series. Everyone remembers Gungrave. Right?
Oh shit, hang on. Let me look this up real quick.
Everyone remembers Gungrave.
Am I missing something important?
You know, Gungrave.
Gungrave.
I believe it's made by the guy who did art for Trigun.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, but it was
right.
He designed the characters for the game.
Yes.
You also hear on Night Town is what you're thinking of, by the way.
But
god damn.
Yeah. But anyways, it's the cool thing about this is basically the cinematic trailer comes out. It's like 4 minutes long. It's really cool. And the dev team's response is, so we're gonna delay Gungrave G.O.R.E, which is the name of the game. We're gonna delay it so that we can make it cooler.
Is that like the actual statement?
Verbatim.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're going to delay it. It's like, they were literally like, yeah, the dev team is so psyched because we saw how much people liked the trailer that we're gonna delay it to make it cooler. That's fucking awesome.
That's great. I'm glad they're passionate about it.
That's good shit. So good on you, Gungrave team. You do it. You do
Keep making
great.
it cooler. Yeah.
Make that game as cool as possible.
The working environment must be nice.
Make it cool.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The working environment must be good.
I hope so. It sounds, if it's a team that seems to be excited on what they're working about enough to take a minor financial hit to increase the quality of the game instead of just pushing it out to meet an expected deadline, great.
More fat
especially because if you couldn't tell by my sardonic tone, who the fuck cares about Gungrave? Who the fuck knows what that is? And it's
reminds me of like when Fire Force got that delay.
Yeah.
It's like, when the hell does this happen, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
It should, though. Just saying.
Yeah, it should.
More of this, please.
Other things. Predator Hunting Grounds is a real game. Did you know that?
I did not.
Predator
I remember
Hunting Grounds.
last year.
I vaguely remember this.
I remember we were
That was a
talking
rumor,
about it
right?
because there was some PlayStation conference, and we were like, yeah, there's Predator Hunting Grounds. It's like, oh, cool, you get to play a Predator. That sounds cool. And then we looked at it, and it was like, and then it said, like, VR game, and I was like, eh.
We were just like, okay.
Okay. And then we didn't really talk about it that much. But no, apparently this is actually a real game.
How about that shit?
Like, you could play it. You move a character around. It's also got
a game.
Predator with titties. What do you got?
Is it
What do you
actually
want?
a thing?
Huh? Yeah, it's Predator
Is
with
it like when
titties.
Venom was a curvy woman?
Look up Predator Hunting Grounds. One of the, I think the JPEG for the video is of a female predator.
The lore expands.
The only thing is, I feel deep in my heart that they were cowards because they could have made the female predator buff.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Yeah, there it is.
They could have done it, but they didn't. But yeah, I don't know if it's a multiplayer game. I don't know if it's a single player game. I don't care. I want to play as a predator and kill people. If it's a multiplayer game, I will never play as a human.
Oh yeah, it's like I think they made a game way back in like the 90s of human versus predator. And I think that's what it was called, but everyone just played as predator because like who cares about the soldier?
Oh, it was AVP. There was like I think it was a first-person shooter, and
It was.
you could play as the xenomorph, a human, or a predator. And it's like, why would you play as the human? Play as
Like,
a
who
xenomorph.
cares?
Play as
I
a
want to play as the
predator. Who gives
iconic
a
characters.
Fuck about a human.
I'm sure
I wanna
the human has
represent
their
my
own like
human
base or whatever.
race.
Like, I'll play as Gorman from Aliens. I'll play as Vasquez, but I'm not gonna play as fucking Guy.
Soldier.
Yeah.
White man.
God, remember in Alien Colonial Marines when you could pick up the legendary Gorman's pistol?
Yeah.
Oh,
I forgot
God.
about the Gorman's pistol.
Aliens, Colonial Marines.
Remember when
that sends me
Gorman
back.
used his pistol? Fuck.
Remember
Anyways,
when
shit.
the guy shot something in the action movie?
yeah.
You can do
Remember
that
when
in the action
coward
game.
landed
too.
the craft and then was like, "How many simulations have you done?" 36. Real? 2. I'm not gonna
Good.
Sign me up.
this.
Fucking
Hey,
I'm
this
sold.
is kind of
guys.
where there's 2 stories together because we're professional.
Yes.
It's Telltale's alive. What the fuck?
I've never.
got-
So what's about
Good.
this? Is
So-
it just back?
Yeah.
Is it like when Sierra came back and everyone was like, "Oh, cool"?
Sierra?
Yeah, Sierra.
Yeah, except
Sierra Online.
Oh, Sierra Games. Yeah. So basically, the deal is that LCG Entertainment bought Telltale.
Okay.
Because if you didn't know, Telltale went mega bankrupt. And the basic it's basically it's weird because it still has the Telltale name.
It's like a husk.
They bought the back catalog for Telltale's games that they had planned, and it's like all the licenses that they didn't own went back to their respective owners, but they can still renew the licenses if they want. Because Telltale did so many licensed properties, so it's
Yeah.
like, this is weird, man.
So they're
Well,
sort of
you know.
like. So they're only mostly dead, is what you're saying.
Kind of.
So it's like they're kind of alive.
It's
You
like
know,
it's like a
like-
weird corpse reanimation.
Yeah. They're
Is this
Frankensteining
corpse-
the company.
Is this corpse still guilty of laying off all of its employees, or is this a different corpse?
Yeah.
Oh. Well then.
Don't buy from Telltale. Anyway,
I would say avoid this, but if you like Wolf Among Us 2, hey, I don't know, man.
speaking of things that shouldn't be alive, Cats.
The
movie.
musical. The movie.
Yeah, this one's fine.
We haven't seen it yet, but
We're going to before the year is
Yeah,
out.
but you won't be able to see it in its original badness because Cats got a
can't watch-
day 1 effects patch.
Well, there's
can't
some
watch
some
vanilla
theaters that have gotten that
Cats.
still have the original version, but you know, I
but
doubt
they
we
won't-
live near anywhere like
Yeah.
that has them.
They won't play it because they're cowards.
release the vanilla.
Give us the
Cats
glitched
cut,
version of
fucking
Cats.
Oh my
cowards.
god, that'll be the Snyder cut. When it gets released, it's going to be like digitally remastered to look okay. It's like, no, release the bad one. I want to
Please.
see it.
You know, I had a
for
weird
that.
dream. Not the one from before, but I was watching the Snyder
Okay,
cut.
good,
It was
not-
actually great.
Really?
You were watching Cats?
It was like real. No,
No, he was
I was
watching
watching
the
the
Snyder
Snyder. Yeah,
cut.
I was watching Zack Snyder's cut of
Oh,
Cats.
okay. I thought you.
Oh,
Fuck, I
I'd
dropped
love
my
to see
phone.
that.
Never mind.
I was watching the Snyder cut of Justice League, and it was really emotional.
Yeah,
It's like a
Really?
fucking war movie. I
was a
really
war
enjoyed
movie?
it. Yeah.
That's
It was like, after the end of the movie, there was like after the movie thing, you know, that they do with anime movies they show in the West, where they have the staff talk about shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And they showed like clips from.
It was a Fathom event?
Yeah, sure. It was. They showed like the original release, and for some reason they're carrying like Superman on a stretcher out of the fucking alien thing instead of reviving him. And it's all like red because of all the color correction, and then in the Snyder cut it was all gray and washed down. There was a bunch of CG fog, and the music is swelling. It's orchestral, like, don't fucking die, man.
Oh my god.
What?
It was the worst shit I've
But
ever
he was
seen.
already dead.
Can we please get back to cats? I don't want to talk about your weird fucking dreams.
Can we just get back to the artistic integrity of Cats 2019?
Actually, can we move away from cats?
All right, what's
All right,
next?
you can't see human hands anymore. Next.
Yeah. moving
Rebel
on.
Wilson's cat sleeve. Anyway,
All right, please explain this next one to me.
Hey, so do you remember when, did I tell you about CD Projekt Red and, the author of The Witcher fighting?
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
Wait. It might
CD
be the
Projekt
off the
Red-
cast.
So basically, so basically the author of The Witcher got super salty that the games were doing way better than his books were.
Oh, that's
And
right. Yeah.
people were only knowing the franchise, like, so many people didn't even know that there was a book part of the franchise.
Yeah.
And the other reason that he got salty is because he chose an immediate payment instead of royalties.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he paid
Oh, that
a
sucks.
joke sum for the original Witcher, and The Witcher 3 sold unbelievable amounts of copies. So
Because it's
yeah.
good.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. But apparently they, so basically he was going through some legal stuff to try and get the license away from them, which wasn't too bad because this was all happening while Cyberpunk was in development, so I don't think Projekt was really caring.
Yeah.
But they seem to have renegotiated the license, and so it seems that it will at least be possible for a Witcher 4 to exist. That doesn't mean it's in development. It just means that
But
it's
no,
possible.
you're
that
saying
it
Just
there's
means
a
that
chance.
the option would still be on the table, maybe.
Yes. I
good
don't
to
think they
know.
need to, because the ending to The Witcher 3 is pretty definitive. At
Okay.
least for Geralt. There are plenty of other characters who could be placed in
You
the
just introduced a new character.
Witcher way. You could do
Yeah.
Ciri as the main character. Sounds good.
Sure.
Not I don't mean you know. Do you know who I mean? I don't mean the
No.
phone. There's a character whose name is Ciri, but it's not the phone.
Right.
Oh, I didn't. I figured you weren't talking about the phone.
Oh,
Because
really?
Whenever we're talking
There
about
wasn't
like
even that?
fantasy.
I was
Whenever we're
expecting
talking
to
about like
pounce on
fantasy,
that
it's just like
immediately.
I know I fucking love fantasy. So whenever you talk about names that are just like generally unorthodox to United
Look,
States,
I've made pretty
standards,
awful
I'm just
jokes
like,
on
yeah,
this
okay.
podcast before. I'm not going to be incredibly brain dead.
Really,
Not tonight.
Andrew.
Yeah.
After 29 fucking
Are-
episodes, we better have
Yeah.
some standards.
I mean, I can try.
I'm shocked.
I can certainly
just
try.
Shocked.
We do our best here, ladies and
Yes.
gents.
All right,
Anyway.
let's move on. We got a whole bunch of a rap list to get off here.
Do you
Yeah.
want
So
to
a bunch of events happened.
go? Do we bullet list this or what? Because
I'm just bullet listing it. And I'm giving
Yeah.
general reactions and just like
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, the Game Awards happened.
well,
Sekiro,
we're making a video on it.
Yes,
We'll
the
have
video
a
may or may
yeah,
not be out before the year is
whatever.
out.
You'll see
fucking
our
will
live
not be out
reactions
before
to
the end of the year.
most of these announcements.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll mainly be talking about the cool or the weird ones.
Yeah.
So first thing is Sekiro wins Game of the Year. Cool, great.
I was
Yeah.
pleasantly
I
surprised.
was,
honestly.
actually.
I
I thought
would
like
say
Smash would win. or
pleasant
some
surprise. I completely disagree, but that's besides the point.
shit. I thought it was like a black sheep.
It's like, sure.
a small.
It's
Yeah.
like, why
Because
not?
I feel
can't
like
be
this
mad
was.
at it.
I feel like this was in everyone's top 3 for those who played it, but I didn't think it
wasn't
was like
the
everyone's
long
one.
shot.
Right,
The
it's
long
sort of like
shot
when,
was Resi 2, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It reminds me of when, what was that thing? That Guillermo del Toro film won Best...
Shape of Water.
Yeah, Shape of
Yeah.
Water won the Oscar for Best Film.
Yeah,
It's
that's,
like,
that
okay,
was a
I
good one.
can't be really mad at it.
It's
Well,
like
the
good.
thing
It's
is,
like,
Shape
sure.
of Water
expected.
is really good though.
Right.
But because Shape of Water would have been the long shot, but I don't. This isn't. This doesn't feel like.
No, the long shot was the fucking that Winston Churchill film. What we're saying is good, but I feel like it was everyone's like
Yeah.
2 or 3 instead of number 1.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a pleasant surprise that it was number 1.
And I've got problems with Sekiro. I like it, but I think as a first time playthrough, it's a fucking phenomenal game. I think as a second time, it's not.
I've heard like the rationale is that in From games you're encouraged to be the play. This is just me stealing from what they said on Let's Fight a Boss, but in From games you're encouraged to like immerse yourself as the player, like in Dark Souls or Bloodborne. But in Sekiro you are living Wolf's story. So
it's
like these things happen to him, and you have to.
It's kind of that. It's more
it.
For me personally. It's more lack of build diversity.
Mm.
In terms of
that's
just
fair.
the gameplay's mechanics, because you have a sword. That's what you've got.
Yeah, so that's the gameplay and story reason where you're not
That
able
is
to get as into
the answer
game.
to every combat situation is use your sword.
Cut things.
Use your sword. So yeah. Then we have Hellblade 2.
What was
which,
this again?
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is it's the Viking game that explores mental health.
Right.
I played through Hellblade 1
That's
and
right.
I think in terms of presentation and graphics and story, it was all phenomenal. I think that game kind of sucked.
So
I did not like
2
playing
going to be like? Do we know if 2 is going to be like a
being-
remake of 1 or like continuing the
What?
story?
No.
Of what there is?
Oh,
What do you mean?
Well, you know, some
remake?
games do like the sequel name, and
right,
then
and
it's
they
just
just
like
remake
like
it. I don't think
This
that's what's
isn't like
happening
this
here.
isn't like Fear 2. No, this is a sequel. It's a direct sequel, at least as far as we
Okay.
know. I also, by the way, I thought I got the band who did the song for it right. I got it totally wrong. I don't know if you correct that in the video or not. I 100%.
We'll see. We'll see.
100%
I actually haven't started
whiffed.
editing that.
Yeah, but it's just like, yeah.
I'll have to check out the band though. So you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, I hope Hellblade is. I don't know. I hope Hellblade 2 is good. I really didn't enjoy 1 that much, even though its presentation and subject matter and handling of the subject matter was amazing.
It feels like
the
something that has the
audiovisual-
potential to be huge.
Right.
Yeah, especially its audiovisual presentation, but it's like, for instance, spoilers for this game, but I genuinely do not care.
Fine.
There's this one thing at the beginning of the game. It introduces this thing where it's like, oh, there's a rot that crawls up Senua's arm, and if you die a certain amount of times and the rot reaches her head, the game will be permanently over, and you'll lose your entire save.
Huh.
That's a lie.
Oh.
I knew it was a lie by the second death. And it was just any tension that was supposed to have created was just immediately gone. And I just felt
deflated.
Yeah, and then the combat, and it would make the combat more interesting, but it's just kind of bland. The combat's
Just flat.
It's really milquetoast.
That's a
And
shame.
then the puzzles are also really milquetoast, and it's just kind of like, I didn't want to keep playing it,
saying
but I
there's,
did
like,
for the street
Potential for
cred.
depth, right?
Yeah, and I played it, and I beat it, and I said that was a good game. I don't think that was a great game.
Solid 5 out of 10.
I'd actually for the audiovisual performance alone, I'd give it like an 8, honestly.
But there's just some serious flaws.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
it's
how
that
presented,
powerful
how
of
it's
a
game,
game. I
yes.
just anything else is just like ugh. Just the gameplay I
That's
just
fair.
did not have a fun time. It's a game that in a phenomenal experience, but I didn't enjoy playing it. If that wasn't
Right.
the point, because Andrew, you and I have argued about
Yeah.
the
Intent. Creator's
enjoyment of
intent
art.
versus
Yeah.
like
If the
product
point of the
produced
game
or
was not
something.
to enjoy it, fine. It got me. Then I experienced that art, and I will never touch it again. So whatever.
You can like give it accolades, but you couldn't recommend it. Is what you're saying.
Yeah. Maybe Hellblade 2 will have more to the gameplay, and maybe I'll actually enjoy it this time.
There you go.
Yeah. And then
Speaking of enjoyable looking things.
Maneater. Who knew that one Jaws game
Jaws
would
Unleashed.
would get a spiritual successor, and that it would
Of all
look
of the
kind of fun.
things. It looks pretty sick.
It looks
reminds
pretty
me of
good,
that
yeah.
movie,
It also looks like a game
like-
that I could probably play, and I fucking have issues with water. Like
that's
Oh,
right.
really?
Yeah.
I like thalassophobia
Wow.
or whatever.
How do you
Babba
play?
boobity
Do you are you able to play like Subnautica? Or
No,
is that just
no.
impossible?
No, I cannot
Damn,
play
really?
that. Like I can play in the shallows section, but if I go anywhere beyond that, I start to feel sick.
You're aquaphobic,
Damn.
as they say.
Like there's
I think that's
Markiplier who plays the game, and it's funny because he's like, it's like because I've thought about this, where it's just like, hey, if I did a stream of this, would it be entertaining to watch? Because I'm scared and I'm like, ugh, like getting freaked out.
Right.
But the thing is that Markiplier is playing the game, and he's scared, but he's also having a really good time. I remember playing Subnautica and getting to a point where I was just sitting there and I was staring at the screen and I would not move. I just can't move at all. Like,
I've always been kind of fascinated by it.
I mean, you guys should play it and I would be happy to commentate over it. It's just that I can't play those games.
We all have those like irrational sort of things.
Yeah, that's why I can't play Earth Defense Force, because I'm really fucking scared of giant bugs.
I
respect
that. I actually, and this might be just, I don't know. I remember when Undertale came out in 2015. I was horrified of Undertale. I was horrified of it.
Yeah,
because I hated the creepy
I remember
8-bit
thinking
aesthetic.
It was cool. Yeah, you thought like during the early game, there's long periods of silence, like when Toriel goes.
Yeah, and Toriel just walks up to you and she's staring right at you, and it's fucking.
She leaves like really fucking quickly, goes to the basement.
I hate how quick she moved.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, and I was like, "This is so cool." I was like mystified, and you were like, not having it.
I love horror games like a shitload. It's just when it comes to the water, it's just no.
Yeah.
Some horror games
There's a
actually
line you don't
petrify me.
cross.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like Man-Eater's obviously not going to cross that thing for horror,
like
but
you're just kind of hanging out in the shallow regions or whatever. So
it
doesn't.
Going
it
to
looks
like
I
Amity
might be able to
Beach.
play it and have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't be the only one who
speaking
thought
of,
of the song Man-Eater as well.
Yeah.
She'll chew you like that.
Yeah.
I don't know who made that.
Hollow Notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of horror, one quick second. I think it's really interesting my experience with this genre, because I can talk at length about how modern horror movies are just terrible. And even some horror games I'm not sufficiently scared by. But some horror games, it's not even like ones that are super scary, but some of them just petrify me.
I mean,
which ones?
I can't like if it's something sufficiently scary, like Resident Evil 7 creeps me out unless there's like funny commentary over it.
Yeah.
But I'll even get scared by Spooky's jump scare mention. Like
sure.
Like,
we played it that time. Yeah.
I couldn't fucking do it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like,
we well,
it was so interesting to me.
The thing with RE7 for me is that, like, aside from the set piece scares, once I got to a certain point, I immediately recognized, okay, here are mechanics.
Yeah.
Like, it's that part for me, it's still fun, and it's still fun to see what interactions you can get happening, especially with dealing with Papa the first time, and how like it's completely random whether or not you can get him to walk through a wall.
Oh really?
It's like sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't.
I guess the level of presentation, whether it does that thing well, like if it's just crappy Steam 99-cent shovelware junk or whatever, then it's funny to laugh at because it always looks like Gary's mod or something.
I mean, hey, but that's what you were also playing with Spookies, so...
Exactly. For some reason. I don't know, it might be random.
It does go a long way to also say, like, how effective the atmosphere can be. Even with...
Yeah, the reason Spookies worked so well is because it caught you off guard.
Yeah,
it lowered your expectations. It's like I was reading Barefoot Gun. Where it's like, oh, the art style's all cute. Creepy. And then it's actually
that's a good
horrifying.
metaphor, Andrew. Yeah, that's a really good metaphor. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was just a tangent. Why not, you know? Alright.
Wolf
hey, it's a Telltale game.
We already talked about the weird state of that. I don't know.
It's like, alright.
Weird West, just because I love the aesthetic of the supernatural western. And
oh, is that the new what the hell's their name?
Devolver?
Yeah,
it's being published by Devolver.
Soft.
I don't know the team behind it. I think it's a team that I think is made of Arcane Studio devs, and I like Dishonored as much as the next guy, so hey.
Sure.
But yeah, it looks like an isometric RPG, which we need more of those because, like, Pillars of Eternity, Tyranny, and Disco Elysium are some of the best games ever made. So,
for some reason, I've never played classic Fallout, but for some reason, it gave me feelings of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and
somehow,
yeah. So, moving on.
yeah.
Hey, who knew? Sons of the Forest.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
That was so off-putting.
Yes.
Like,
Because I was like, is it going to be a Forest sequel? Haha. And then I was like, oh, okay.
Like, I remember this happens so much with us when we're doing these things. It's just like, oh, is that the Blair Witch? It's a Blair Witch.
Yeah, a Blair Witch game.
Remember when I fucking said Minecraft 2 and we thought
Yeah,
for a
Minecraft
fucking
2, and it
minute?
was like,
Yeah.
and we were just like, no, it's not. Oh, it is. No, it's not. But okay, but like,
Or the fucking Final Fantasy VIII remake.
Yeah.
okay, well, that was not right.
No.
It could be,
Anyways,
you never know.
Sons of the Forest. I don't know how to feel about that. I guess.
I'm sure that a lot of people will get their mileage from it.
Sure.
It looks very well made.
I
what
like
else could I say?
aspects of the Forest. I think it's a pretty fun game.
I think
sick.
if we're talking about scenarios that like really creep me out, or like just creep us out specifically, being lost in a forest is like one of the worst like fears I have.
That's fair. I can
Oh,
respect
speaking of that, Andrew, there's this
Let's
one
go to the
YouTube account I
forest.
follow of this guy. Yeah, meet me in the forest. I need to show you something.
Let's go to the forest. Yeah.
There's this YouTube account I follow of this man in Japan with this expensive camera rig. He just walks around towns. But he walks around them for like an hour and it's really chill to just listen to,
Really?
city life. But the video I found his channel on was him walking around Aokigahara for an
my
hour
God.
at night.
Oh my god.
Can you
No, thank
fucking
you.
believe that? It was one of the most calming experiences of my
Really?
life, actually, because I found that at 1 a.m. when I was trying to sleep.
Send it to me
I'll
at some
fucking
point.
send it.
Please
Yeah,
never
I'll
send
send it right
that to
now.
me.
Yeah, we can move on to the next thing.
Yeah, on to the next thing. Naraka Blade Point. It's like weird ninja multiplayer game.
Yes.
Yeah. That looks cool. I don't know anything about it. I don't know how the game will play. The dev team is virtually non-existent to me. But if you make a cool and stylish 3D action whatever thing that's also possibly multiplayer, that looks cool. So, hey, that it's presented well. It'll probably suck, but okay. And then, speaking of things that will suck,
Here's the Aokigahara right there.
the last
you.
announcement. Oh, thank you. The
Thought I
last
said never to send that to me.
announcement.
Oh
of
my
the
god,
night.
that fucking...
Oh my god. The last announcement of the night. Fast and Furious Crossroads.
That was very bizarre.
being announced by a drunk Michelle Rodriguez, which is
That was
so upsetting to see.
It was very like you want to talk about off-putting?
It's like
It was so like unexpected and like what is are you okay?
it's like the new Fast and Furious game. Why is Michelle Rodriguez here? Why is she drunk? Because if you don't know, Michelle Rodriguez killed people in a DUI.
Wait, what?
Like,
I actually didn't know about that.
Okay, yeah. I need actually. I'm not sure if she killed people or not.
But she was still
Yeah.
under
sorry I
DUI.
laughed. It's fucking...
Yeah. She did do. She went to jail.
Oh my god.
It was a hit and run. I don't know if it was if there was a death involved.
Okay, I can feel less bad for bursting out laughing then.
Yeah, a hit and run. And a DUI. She went to jail for 48 hours.
I thought you were gonna say years.
48
months.
years.
And I was gonna be confused. Also, what? Excuse me?
Yeah.
And then Vin Diesel's there too.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
she. Oh yeah,
And they
she's.
were
And then
talking.
she's had. Okay, it's not that she's had a DUI. It's that she's had multiple DUIs.
Oh my.
Oh, that's better.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that made that wow.
It's like the fact that she's also in the Fast and Furious movies. Fucking god damn it. That's so.
It was so weird. That part was just so bizarre. Not only was
Yeah.
it the last announcement, that should have been like in the middle of the show, so we could, forget about it.
Right.
Apparently,
But just
what I've
that
heard
it was at that
is-
position.
What I've heard is that the last showing of the night was supposed to be gameplay for Half-Life Alyx, but I think at like very last minute Steam decided to pull. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks, Steam.
But fuck that shit. Who cares about Fast and Furious and Miguel Rodriguez, you fucker?
Does anyone any thoughts on the Xbox One S? Wait, what was it? The new Series
X?
X?
You mean the
Series
Xbox
X?
X.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like a wonderful fridge.
It looks like a wonderful fridge. I don't give a shit.
I hope we get more
play
cylindrical
Xbox.
console
I will
designs.
never care about Xbox.
I hope we get more cylindrical console designs. What can I
What,
say?
you want one that looks like a garbage
We'll
can?
never
What do
get
you
a
want?
cylindrical. What the fuck would that look? What do you just like slide the disc in? And it's shaped exactly like a disc.
I just want to put googly eyes on my gaming console. Okay.
You can.
Well,
Nothing is
and
stopping
make it look more like character design, unless like I slap googly eyes
did
on
it
my
on your
Switch.
PS4, it would look like a guy with a sharp beard.
I want my Xbox lava lamp so I can put googly eyes on it.
Anyways,
Okay. I'm
let's move
odd.
away from the Game Awards.
No,
Because
it's
there's really not
fine.
much to
The
talk
Game
about.
Awards brings out the worst of us.
Yeah.
Let's just hit
Nintendo
up
had a
some
showcase?
indie showcases.
Oh,
talk
that's
about
right, yeah.
The sequel to Golf Story, which is Sports Story.
Oh, I
Looks
didn't know they were getting
ridiculous.
Golf Story sequel.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanna play Golf Story, and I will play Sports Story, and then Streets of Rage 4, which is it's weird that that's indie, but okay.
How the
I
times
don't know
change.
what the license situation with that game is.
But
It was probably they
probably
realized no one
complicated.
touched it for 20 years.
yeah,
and
so
someone bought
technically
it.
indie.
So I mean, it's really cool to see that a bunch of indie games lately have been beat 'em ups because they've been really good. Specifically with River City Girls.
That's right.
I still need to play that game.
Me too.
Great game. It's a great game.
The
Really short
music's
too.
good as hell.
I
Oh,
do listen
God,
to the
yeah.
music.
I do
Music's
too.
wonderful.
And the character designs are wonderful as well.
They are so good.
The whole visual
Oh my
design
God.
is stellar.
Yep. Okay, and then you have Super Mash, which is a really interesting idea, and I kind of got to wonder the limitations of it, but it is a game in which you take two game cartridges and then mix them together, and it is apparently random. But it's like you have a shitload of, or it's not game cartridges, sorry, game genres. So you get action
Okay.
spy, or sorry, action stealth, or stealth RPG, or
Spies in
RPG
disguise.
platformer. Like it's really.
So you're telling me I
interesting.
can mix like a rhythm game and a JRPG?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So
Holy shit.
I
Wonderful.
don't know if they have a rhythm game, but if they do, then that would be a possibility.
I would love to see that.
So-
is it like a minigame thing? Or
I don't know. I don't know if it's like going to be an arcade style game or if it's actually like a full game, which no way. But if it's as cool as it sounds, then great. Cool. I'm in.
Nice.
So next we have Skatebird.
Let's see. What is
Skatebird.
this game?
It sort of speaks for itself in a way.
Skatebird
Yeah.
is a bird skate. What you want?
Oh,
Burst
yeah,
skate.
wow. I just looked it up. Yeah, I guess it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking sweet.
It is what it is.
Moving on.
It is.
Skatebird.
Boyfriend dungeon.
Oh,
Moving
this
on to
game I'm
Boyfriend
actually really
Dungeon.
excited for.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Explain this,
Like-
please.
Your weapons are your boyfriends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take them through dungeons, kill them.
You ever watch Soul Eater? They made it like a game.
Yeah. It's a visual novel with actual gameplay. Cool.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. They're doing like a mix of those. It's like, what's it called? Super Mash, but like for real.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
mashed two of these genres
they
together.
took a mashup and went with it.
I'm actually
like
quite
the-
fond of
it's-
visual novels.
You know,
as
it's
well.
interesting. The aesthetic of it, like that promotional image with the purple background and the color and the fashion of it, it comes together in a way where, for me, it almost doesn't work, but it just manages to
Really?
yeah, for some like the promotional image, the one with I think it's the shade of purple that does
yeah,
it
I
for
know
me.
what you're talking about.
I think
It's
I would like
that.
it to be a bit lighter or a bit darker because
I think
the
it looks
way is,
fine.
but I think it looks really interesting. You know.
Yeah, it does.
But that's my take on the thing. I'm really actually excited for this mashup of things because I'm not a super huge visual novel person, but I enjoyed the Doki Doki Literature Club in 2017.
I mean, yeah, we all did.
I'm
And,
fond of
yeah,
visual novels, actually. I don't play them
I
very
like the
often. I'm
ideas
just
of
fond of
them.
the idea.
Yeah, I think it's cute, and I think dungeon crawling is tons of fun. So why not mix the two together? Why not throw myself into the deep end of these genres I barely ever touch?
Sure.
Why not? Knock out two birds with one stone and something that looks pretty neat on its own as well. I'm excited. Can't wait. All right, and finally,
All right. Axiom Verge 2, cool, great, fun.
yeah.
Sure.
Fun. I'm out of things to say. Like, it looks cool. I need to play the first one.
Yes.
I'm gonna be real, I'm about to keel over.
Oh, fuck. Alright,
Well,
let's get this done.
Axiom
It's
Verge.
1:30 in the
Jump
fucking
Festa,
morning.
I don't know
Jump
what
Festa,
Festa.
everybody.
Jump Festa.
Dyboken
Okay, Cedric,
is.
explain
Alright.
the history to this one, because...
Don't
my
explain
turn.
the history.
No,
I'm not
it's
gonna
fine.
give you
It's
the
very
fucking
short.
lore lesson. Alright,
So, once upon a
Jump Festa
time.
happened.
Shut, I will mute you.
We're losing him, Andrew. We gotta wrap this shit up.
It just is hitting.
It's a Dragon
What?
Quest anime.
It's like drugs. It's
Okay, so
fucking hitting.
so Dino Daiboken is a manga from Shonen Jump that ran from like 1989 to 96. Even though it's kind of forgotten, it's super undervalued in general because it's one of the best-selling manga of all time. And I always I read it in like 2017.
You did,
I really
yeah.
enjoyed it because I'm a big Dragon Quest nerd. It had an
like
anime
the series
adaptation
for you.
that went on for 50 episodes and then stopped.
And when
but
did that series
now
come out,
it-
Cedric?
Oh, just in the 90s, whatever. They didn't adapt like a fucking.
I'm going
Fourth of the
down,
story.
boys.
But here's the thing: we're gonna get a remake. I joked it would never happen. I was like 35th anniversary of Dragon Quest next year. Fucking remake it, and I guess they are, and that's pretty cool because what the fuck were the chances of this? No one's heard of this, but all I can say is for the people who didn't want it, that the hoes are mad.
For those let down by the third season of The Seven Deadly Sins, probably check this one out. This
Yeah,
is probably a
yeah,
good substitute
basically.
for that
Oh yeah.
when it comes
Hey, did
out.
you know that Funimation said that Demon Slayer is the best anime of the decade?
Oh, should we talk
the
about
fucking
that?
decade.
The decade. I don't know about
There's not much
that.
to say.
What do you think's the best show, the anime of the decade?
Mob
Fire
Psycho.
Force.
Space Dandy.
All right.
We're done there.
And the last thing is Food Wars is still getting anime adaptations, even though
Yeah.
the manga's over and ended on such a terrible arc. But
Yeah.
that's just how the cookie crumbles. Good night, everybody.
Well,
Hey,
that was it for the
everyone.
Nonplussed
Listen.
podcast. Coming up
Come
next.
and enjoy.
Uh,
I hope you all enjoy it. 2020.
yes.
2020 with the new Nonplus Nightly, where we won't rebrand again, ever.
Trust us.
Right?
Yes, trust us.
Wow, what a fucking great podcast this was.
What a great podcast. We're good at this.
Hey, congratulations. You've reached the end of the Nonplussed podcast. Click the link in the description to start
have you
again from
seen-
episode
have you
1.
seen that video of John Cena in the middle of a match and it's Christmas and the fans are pointing at him to go get this big rectangular box and he goes and he opens the box and he looks inside and then he looks back to the fans and he has a smile that is so full of wonder and joy
No, what is this?
that it shines across the room like a beacon of the true spirit of Christmas as he reaches into the box and pulls out a folding chair and he holds it up and then he looks at the wrestler in the ring, and he just starts beating the shit out of him with that chair.
What?
I feel like that's a
Happy
metaphor
holidays.
of how this fucking podcast was for us to record.
Happy
Anyway.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy
flip to side B.
Christmas.
Flip to side
Happy-
B. Start the second podcast.
Yeah. Nonplussed
Happy
Nightly is on side B. Flip to it right fucking now.
And disc 1.
Okay. That's done.
Alright, that's it.
I'm stopping.
Alright.
No.
Cool.
Hold it, Snake. Time to change the disc.